Wow, I have two optimists right now with me. That's how they function, not me. It has to do more than that. It has to do more than just the glyph interface.
He lost 45 lakhs, he lost 60 lakhs. No, those are not small amounts.
See, if Apple is doing something, it won't create anything for the niche market. That I'm 100%
But for
sure of.
$3,000, what do you think?
All right, welcome to yet another episode of our podcast series. This is the 10th mid-year episode, and we've done quite a bit of it, so I'm glad that at least we've managed to keep some sort of consistency going. And today I have two people with me. I have Sajid as well for the first time on the podcast, because you know what, generally if it's content at Trakin Tech, it's the three of us discussing, and then whatever trickles down to you in the form of Trakin Tech main channel or English or Tamil, you'll see that, or Marathi, you'll see that. So today we want to have a discussion, a freewheeling discussion.
Yeah,
Arun.
freewheeling discussion, and we are going to talk about a lot of topics.
Yes.
We are going to touch upon very sensitive topics as well as some very important topics that you guys should know. So
Yeah, that affects the end consumer basically.
We are leaving nothing.
Nothing. I mean, we'll begin with nothing. Sajid has preempted that, and of course, the first question I want to ask Arun, and it's a direct question.
Okay.
Will the Nothing Phone 2 be priced under 40,000? There are people on the internet thinking that it'll be priced. I am so skeptical, that is not going to happen. What is your thought?
I think it will happen. I think it will be about 40,000 rupees. And I'm not going to say below, it is going to be 39,999, probably 42, 41, but it's not going to go beyond that because value proposition, Carl Pei especially, I think he will give that value proposition in my view. He's already said 8 Gen 1 processor is going to be, 8 plus Gen 1 processor is going to be there. And that is not a very new processor. It's like 1.5-year-old processor.
That is correct.
So I think there are strong chances that it might be under 40, around 40,000 rupees. The question is, and that is for you and you, Sajid, what did you think about Nothing Phone 1's glyph interface? Was it a gimmick, or was it really something that differentiated Nothing Phone from all the others?
I mean, it differentiated it, but it was a gimmick. I mean, that's how I'll put it. I mean, Sajid.
For a month, I think it's definitely a cool feature. But after that, people... I think I told you that I wanted to buy a phone for my mother.
Yeah.
And she told that it's too,
Flashy.
too out there. It's,
So people are not going to buy for glyph interface. Right. Now that out of the picture, do you think Nothing Phone 1, and you have to tell me, Nothing Phone 1 offers enough for people to really switch from all the other brands to this very new brand?
You mean the Phone 2?
Yeah, Phone 2 probably.
Phone 2, yeah.
Because glyph, it will be there. In my view, 99%
glyph is there.
Glyph is going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it has to do more than that. It has to do more than just the glyph interface. Obviously, it will stand out with the specs that it offers. I'm presuming. I think a lot of the play should be software related.
Okay.
Yeah, because that is where a brand can distinguish now. Hardware is commoditized, yeah. I mean, everybody's using the same chip. Everybody's using the same sensor. Maybe, yes, they give you some extra. But how do you stand out? Software. That is where...
I agree. And I'm going to talk something very interesting about this software thing. Let this podcast go on.
And I want to add that as per leaks, I'll really like to see 3x telephoto.
That should happen, yeah.
Yeah. So camera, we are expecting quite a lot from Nothing Phone 2. Yes. It has to be much better. Yeah, spec-wise, 50 plus 50 was there in Nothing Phone 1, but let's see what happens this time around.
And also, given that POCO F5 is there, Pixel 7a is there, OnePlus 11R is there, I think the pricing will be very crucial.
So you also think it will be under 40,000?
Yes.
Wow, I have two optimists right now with me. That's how they function, not me.
We have nothing to lose.
I'll tell you the reason why. Because it's very competitive in that particular space, and the kind of phones that are coming, he just named 3 of them, and all of them are real value for money. Because if you would have compared it with last year, 2022, we were getting overpriced phones, but 2023, I think with all the issues that were there that is corrected, and prices have come down. So it is imperative for Nothing to launch at that price point. If it goes beyond that, I think it's going to definitely affect their sales, especially in India I'm talking about. In Western countries, it might be different.
Western countries is generally also different. I mean, Xiaomi launches the 13 Pro much expensive, and then it...
For example, Nothing Phone 1 was launched at around 28K, and we are already talking it pricing 40K.
Yeah.
So that's almost like 12K more.
Good point. So a phone that's around the 30,000 price range
Yeah.
is the phone one,
Yeah.
and then the phone
Correct.
2 becomes like the
Yeah,
40,000.
because it's not nothing phone 2 Pro or Ultra or something Premier.
Yeah. That's interesting. They've moved from mid-range to a 8 series phone, which goes into flagship territory, and the price.
Very pertinent points that you make, but I still very strongly
Okay,
believe
let's
it will be
move.
50,000.
Let's move on.
But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, one very related question is that I feel personally that smartphones are getting boring. You don't. I know that. But I mean, will it take a nothing phone to sort of change that? Will it change the smartphone landscape? Do you think?
I don't think so, and that's what I said, that I'm going to talk something very important which I think is going to be in 2023. I'm looking forward when it comes to smartphones. For me, smartphones are not getting boring. Yeah, there are a lot of similar smartphones launching at the same time, but we are still progressing. In my view, software is going to be very, very big in 2023, and that is how it should be. The user experience, the interaction with smartphone, which happens through your software, has to kind of start changing now, and it will, and I'll talk about that.
I want you to talk about it, but
But you asked me a question because there's a question coming in.
Okay, fine. You know the questions.
Yes.
Basically, Arun is preempting the answer for that. But yeah, Sajid, just quickly, just one line. Do you think it's going to change the landscape or not?
Smartphones are boring because they lack identity.
What a good point. Completely agree.
Yeah, so I think
There's that identity crisis happening
Yes.
right now. Fair enough. I mean, all three of us don't think nothing phone 2 is going to change the smartphone landscape. But yes, it will be a good option probably. Okay.
Do you think smartphones are getting boring?
Yeah, 100%.
Why?
Because they're getting boring. I mean, or maybe because we're just so in the thick of it that for us it feels boring. For somebody who's buying a new phone, probably they're interested. Anyway, moving on to the next question, which is, and this is very pertinent, right? I mean, Arun, and this is a serious topic. We haven't spoken about it. There are issues with AMOLED displays that are happening right now, and the entire market is, I mean, the entire online audience is talking about it. There's a green line that's forming, green, pink, name whatever color you want to. Those kind of lines are forming on AMOLED displays after a software update. Right, I mean, it's not even limited to a particular brand. Now it's happening on almost every Vivo, Oppo, OnePlus, everything. I'm naming every brand out here. Every phone has this problem. In fact, whenever you put out a video of OnePlus on Tamil channel, they'll be like, "Will this have green line issue?" So, what is this, Sajid? Technically, what is the problem?
Just wanted to clear that the green line issue is not particularly related to AMOLED screens only. You also get it in laptops, in monitors. So. And it's a very old issue. It's not a new issue. But I think the main issue is that all the new smartphones are using more AMOLED displays, and the launch cycle has become so smaller. Like you get a new smartphone in 6 months. Right. So probably the testing phase is not up to the mark, or not just hardware but also the software. Right. Because
the way they talk to each other.
The way they talk to each other. The primarily why green line issue is there. So as per Google or as per experts on online, they claim that if there's a water damage, if your phone goes through let's say your phone falls, then the screen connector gets
dislodged.
So that green line is specifically a hardware issue. So I'm trying to understand, because we have not spoken about it as yet, but green line is a hardware issue where the connector to the display some point gets dislodged or something like that, and then that green line comes. So if a smartphone goes through a traumatic experience, means it falls somewhere, then this kind of things happen.
But what is this about users saying that update is causing
why is it happening after the update?
So what happens after the update, that there's a plausible reason to it, that there's a overcharge that goes to the display. So which actually creates all type of color lines
issues.
And when Vivo,
because at the kernel level it's not sort of optimizing itself, because that's the problem. Got it.
Again, as you said, that it's across all the brands. So primarily BBK group is suffering from more.
That's a very good point to make. Primarily the BBK group is suffering. It is a quality control issue at that level.
It is also probably because BBK has got 4, 5, 6 brands. I don't know how many brands, but they have got so many.
All being manufactured from one unit.
Yeah, so
that probably answers the question. But yeah, I mean, if you have a green line issue, there's one thing that I can tell the audience is that you can take it to the brand and they will sort of replace it for you. Is what they say.
Yeah.
Hopefully that happens. I hope that doesn't happen to you because you guys spend a lot of money, so it's really bad for that. And in relation to that, there is another problem that's happening, right? I mean, in relation in the sense that, I mean, these are the problems that are cropping up. Is that motherboard problem with POCO phones, right? I mean, so this is something that we haven't addressed yet on any of our Trakin Tech platforms. So I thought that, we have once.
I think I have, because when I was speaking to Himanshu,
Yeah. So if you haven't watched that video, I button, go check it out. But I mean, this specific problem is a problem. This is huge. I mean, if a motherboard goes bust, you have to change that, get replaced, whatever, right? I mean, but I personally feel it's, and I've done a little bit of research around it, is that a lot of it is very localized. All the conversation is very localized towards POCO.
Yeah.
But it's not like this problem was there only with POCO. I saw that Samsung phones had this motherboard problem as well. And Sajid and I have had this discussion.
The M series and A series.
But again, it is with the update. See, when you update, that is the time motherboard goes. So
What is the scene there?
See, what he said, one thing what he said was that because our cycles have become so small, companies are not giving enough time to quality check. QC is very, very important. It has to be done really, with good number of people. These updates, because updates has become so important nowadays. Because sales are affected if updates are not given. So that has become very, very important. Earlier, 2 or 3 years back, they did not give so many updates, and it used to come probably a year later. MIUI updates used to come a year later. Than now, the cycle has gone very, very small. It has become very small, and that's why QC is not happening. And that, I think, is the reason
So
why.
if I have to summarize it basically more phones launching.
Yeah.
Same number of quality control engineers being there, more
And shorter
updates
time.
being issued, and just there's mismatch out there.
So brands are just adding the same smartphone, rebranding it twice or thrice, and just adding the SKUs. So in even the OS optimizations, you need to optimize it for all the models.
Right.
So it just adds to.
It can't be individual.
Exactly.
And because every component is different inside all of the models SKUs as well. But yeah, I mean, the motherboard problem, I mean, Himanshu has said that they're solving it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they are trying to take, and that's why they were forced to give 2-year warranty. That's what they did, because they also acknowledge the problem. They also know the problem about it. The only thing is why it has been talked about POCO so much, because it's an online brand. Everyone is a techie who is buying a POCO phone mostly will be a techie guy who is on Twitter and Instagram and social media. And when some problem like this happens, immediately it comes on Twitter. So it is not just POCO. Yes, POCO ke saath problem hai. It is there.
100%.
But even other brands suffer from it. It's not that they don't have these problems.
And when what happens with those brands is that, I mean, since they have like service centers that are available easily around the house or whatever, like Samsung or Google or whatever, they'll probably directly just go to them. Anyway, moving on. And this is very interesting, right? I mean, Motorola has been on a roll lately, right? Motorola. Terrible joke, but
they're on a roll. I'll tell you what a timing. I mean, you remember Motorola in 2014-15 when G series launched? Yeah,
Flipkart's first E series.
Yeah, what hype.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they went down for about 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know what they were doing. They were launching overpriced phones, and they were specifications wise also they were not all that great. But suddenly they have seen a window of opportunity where these Xiaomis and Realmes of the world who are offering great value for money proposition, they have suddenly, because of whatever issue, government ke saath issue or whatever issues they have, they are not launching so many phones. Even if they are launching, they are not launching at the price point that people expect them, because that is the expectation they have kept. And Motorola is cashing on it. And what is, we have to give credit to Motorola, because they have consistently, in every price point, they are launching great phones with good specifications.
Agreed.
This Edge 40, I was so surprised when we were in the pre-briefing of Edge 40, when we were saying, this is going to come around 35,000, he said 32,000, and then he said 27,999 introductory. I said, what? I mean, that has
there
to
was
be...
a collective disbelief, like, ah!
Collective disbelief. I mean, if you had that, screenshot or something like that, you should have seen. The point is that they are doing really good. They're launching good phones, and timing is so perfect right now, because the other competition is on the back foot, that they're doing well. Their numbers are well. In fact, Edge 40 immediately was sold out. Their first this thing. In fact, in our office, couple of them wanted to buy, and they could not, and they were behind.
They did not buy?
No.
Really?
Tejas wanted to buy,
wanted one, yeah.
and he could not. He said it sold out as soon as he went. So that is the kind of demand also there for Motorola.
That's good, yeah, that's good. I mean, thank you Motorola for getting good phones out, but again, there's one problem with Motorola that we have to address is that updates have to be timely.
Yeah, I've spoken about this, but yeah, it is.
It's very important that Motorola fixes that. Also, camera performance could be better. I mean, I'm a camera nerd, so for me it matters. a lot.
That is also.
But I think they are taking.
But they're improving. Cameras are improving.
Improving. What do you think of Motorola phones, Sajid? You've been testing a lot of them.
Okay, so my first smartphone was Motorola. That was Moto G3. So I have a very
Moto Rocker
Yeah,
E6,
yeah.
mine also same.
So I feel good that they're doing great. Also, this is a very Moto phones are very clean to recommend to a family member.
Yes.
So as there are no recommendations and everything.
Yeah.
So that is also there. Yeah.
We should care about privacy a lot more, right? I mean, as Indians, a lot of the consumers don't. I think we should. Our data, our security. Look at the amount of scams that we are reporting these days.
God.
And then
You should see the paper, yeah. There is one or two. He lost 45 lakhs, he lost 60 lakhs. No, those are not small amounts. 50 lakhs, 80 lakhs, 30 lakh rupees they are losing to these scams, yeah.
Okay, so Arun, why aren't you going to WWDC again? You know what? You got the invite and you're not going to. What's happening there?
No, there was some clashes. Essentially I wanted to go, but I had some committed things that I had to do during exactly that time.
New
and that's
office.
why-
New office.
So it was very difficult. I tried moving things, but could not. I did not go. That's why I did not go.
Also because I don't have a US visa.
Yeah, someone was there. In fact, invitation came first to you. And
Thank you.
and I asked him to get his visa. Since Jan or Feb, I've been behind him.
Yes, we'll get that done. Moving on. About WWDC though, I really do want to talk about the fact that AR headset is like, there'll be a glimpse of it for sure. Sajid, I really want your take on, what Apple will be doing with the AR headset, what they're going to be pulling out of their hat.
Okay, so if Apple is doing something, then it has to be, polished or to the T.
Yeah, to the T. That's correct. Yeah.
So I'm very excited for the
AR headset.
AR headset.
What are they doing on that front? Like they'll be showcasing something?
Exactly.
It'll be like a glass, like you're wearing?
Yeah, it'll be like a headset only, like a VR box. But I think this will be very a developer kit.
Okay, so
For
they'll
the-
be for
the
developers
developers
to create
only.
and then it'll launch later
In the
2026.
iPhone launch event, maybe.
Oh, you think that this year only it'll happen?
No, but tell me, what are the applications? Okay, let's we are talking about hype. Sometimes with Apple, hype is just a balloon, to be honest. Sometimes, I'm not saying always. So we have seen AR headsets. So many brands have launched and they've never made a dent, or it has never gone mainstream. So what is it? What are the applications of those AR headset that you think, you guys tell me, that people are creating so much of hype? What are they going to do with
So
it?
what I was reading, Arun, is that it'll be like a regular glass, okay? And that's where Apple will distinguish itself, because if it's firstly you have something like the Facebook headset which is Ray-Ban integrated, that's damn cool. So something like that, it'll be like a regular glass which everybody can wear, one. So it'll be seamless firstly, and then it'll be integrated apparently with your iPhone.
Yeah.
So your iPhone will talk to that like a ecosystem. So now when you're talking about an ecosystem play,
Okay, obviously if they are launching, it is going to be into ecosystem. It is seamlessly integrate with their TV, phone, everything. I agree to that. My thing is, what are the applications of it for a end user, AR glass?
good question.
What are the applications?
I think for students or some professionals like who are in engineering fields, they can use it for that exploded view of a product.
Right. I also think exactly the same, that it is going to have a very limited niche audience for which it is there. It is not going to be a mainstream product which is going to appeal to large audience. It is going to be like your watch Ultra, which
So you think that there won't be consumer applications for mass
I
market
can't
usage?
imagine at this point of time.
And that is where I think Apple will sort of throw the bomb at us and be like, "ये
Probably-
भी कर सकते हैं."
then it is going to be something.
No, there will
fun.
be something. Because, see, if Apple is doing something, it won't create anything for the niche market. That I'm 100%
But for
sure of.
$3,000, what do you think?
People are wearing $800 Apple Watch Ultras everywhere, Sajid. But no one thought that there'll be uptake for that. We never thought. I am It's everywhere. Somebody tweeted out recently, it's one of our colleagues from the industry. Like everywhere I see people are buying the
a lot of ultras.
It's Apple, man. $3,000 won't matter to the end user if they push.
But also I think that Apple wants to show their that they are very future brand, because a lot of times we say that this feature is already on the Android, this feature was already on Android phones or that. So in terms of that, Apple is trying to think for the future, that they have AR glass.
Yeah, this will be their first futuristic product in a long time.
Correct.
Yeah.
And something new.
Something new.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's only incremental updates. Other than that, there's nothing.
Okay, I think we've had a long conversation, so I want to close it with one question, okay? One prediction for the rest of 2023, basically the second half of 2023, that you think will, that's going to be big in tech. So what is that?
Yeah.
I think that's where you wanted to answer.
Yeah, that is this is the question I was waiting for. He at the start of the podcast, he told me, I'm going to ask you this, so be prepared. And I didn't want to prepare because I know this is what it's going to be. Right now, everyone is talking about AI, right? But when AI comes on phones, deeply integrated, your everything, every interaction you do with your smartphone is going to change. And that's why I was saying software is going to hold the key. Unfortunately, I also think that AI is going to require a lot of power. So to start off, it's going to be the flagship phone owners who will get the taste of it. Mid-range and lower will not. But probably a year and a half down the line, even mid-range, all smartphones, mid-range, low budget phones also will get AI into it, deeply integrated, and that is where your experience with smartphone is going to take a leap, and that is where I think that smartphones are going to be exciting again.
You think it will happen in the second half of 2023 itself?
Yeah, at least in some flagship phones.
Some form or the other.
Yes, it is going to happen. It has to happen. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Sajid?
Okay, so I think the good old days are coming back, like 2019 or 2020. The VFM phones are making a comeback.
Yeah.
So I'll also want to say that don't buy smartphones right now. Wait for Diwali sale.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I mean, in India, it's like almost a thing now that, just like Black Friday in the US, Diwali sale on Flipkart and Amazon, that's when you should buy a smartphone.
So I think 2023 second half will be more interesting in terms of value for money
Because
phones.
we already have good value for money phones.
I mean, curved screen smartphones, AMOLED screen smartphone under 20,000, 1 million under score in under 30,000. So I think
that's quite a this thing, right? I mean, yeah, okay. So I'm not going to say anything because
why?
Because I'll tell you why. Because I think nothing's going to happen. Nothing.
Alright, this guy is a pessimist. we are optimists. This guy is a pessimist.
No, nothing. I'm just kidding. I genuinely feel nothing's going to happen, except for the fact that I do agree with both of your points. So let's see how that plays out. And I think it was a good podcast. What do you think? You enjoyed it? Do you like the format, by the way? This one?
I love the format. You guys have to tell us. Do you like the format? If you like, we are going to do it more often. And I love talking like this. Just from heart, whatever we feel,
casual
and openly. So that's a lot of fun.
Sajid, do you enjoy it?
Obviously.
Yeah. This was his first podcast.
First podcast, at least on English. So Sajid will probably come with like super bang. I'm waiting for Sajid to do the super banger answers. You'll be like, what the hell did he just say? Yeah. Sajid has the tendency of doing that in office. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.